So, good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another thing of things that we do stuff in. I'm Computer78, and in this video, we're going to be doing exactly what that thing says. The mighty title of Titleton, or Turtleton, or Titletron, the Robotron of title creators, has decided that that title will be talking about Sonic Generations. So let's just get right into it. There's no reason to dilly-dally. Also, after we do this, I do want to say one thing about upcoming Let's Play projects. But first of all, the important stuff. Sonic Generations. So, I've beaten it. I've finished it. It's awesome. I gotta say, I love it more than pretty much most Sonic games, actually. Like most modern Sonic games, it's definitely my favorite. Only like below, it's my second favorite. Okay, second favorite. Below Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, only because that was like my real first 3D Sonic game, and so it's kind of just like my favorite, and in my opinion that game is almost flawless for a Sonic game, and it's definitely flawless for a modern Sonic game. Perfect. Other Sonic games I've played all the originals, well, like Sonic 1, 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic and Knuckles, and then I have Sonic Adventures. I haven't beaten it yet, but I am in the midst of playing it. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, which when I first got it, I love that game. I will admit this right now. When I first played that game, that was the first game that came with my Xbox 360, and I gotta say, right off the bat, I kind of loved it, and I beat it within 2 days, or 3 days, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I tried to replay it, and yeah, it's awful. But I will admit that when I first played the game, I thought like, dude, this is awesome, and I was one of those guys that was like, oh, Shadow's so edgy and dark, and Silver's so misunderstood. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, so back to the matter at hand, Sonic Generations. Pretty much what Sonic Generations is, if you don't know it and you've been living under a rock for the past 17,000 decades because you were once a caveman and you finally come out of your cave, Sonic Generations is another game to the Sonic series, which is about a blue hedgehog that looks nothing like a hedgehog running really fast and going left or going right or going forwards, and that's it. That's it. Occasionally he goes left. But yeah, so there's let's go with the good things first. Well, I don't know. Let's state the facts, go with the good things, then we'll go with the bad things, and then we'll be good. And we'll just say there aren't a lot of bad things, but there's one really bad thing. But yeah, anyway. So you have both Modern Sonic and Classic Sonic, and Modern Sonic is how he plays in Modern Sonic games. You pretty much are going straight, and you're looking at the back, and it's a 3D, like, perspective and 3D platforming and whatnot, and occasionally it'll switch to 2D. Classic Sonic is completely 2D, exactly like how he was in Sonic 1 through Sonic and Knuckles. He's got all those cool power-ups. He's got the Thunder Shield makes a return. I think the Fire Shield makes a return. The Water Shield definitely makes a return, I know that. He's got his classic, like, charge-up move. And then you got like the special charge up move where like he'll go faster. Modern Sonic has kind of like that Wisp boost that was in Sonic Colors, and he has his like homing attack, and yeah. So those are the two Sonics. Which Sonic, first of all, I'd say is better is Classic Sonic. Classic Sonic is a bit more difficult in my opinion. Than Modern Sonic. I felt Modern Sonic was relatively easy, even though the game says the opposite, that Modern Sonic is the more difficult one. I disagree, and I think that Classic Sonic's levels were a bit more difficult to get through. Kind of just because when I was playing as Classic Sonic, it was more of a feel of just going fast. And that was it, just going fast and staying fast. And they constantly were putting obstacles in your way to stop you from doing that. And that's not like a bitch move or anything, but it made it more difficult because I kind of stopped paying so much attention, and so, I mean, the developers did kind of what they were planning on making me do, which was catch me off guard. I still feel like Modern Sonic, for some reason, he just doesn't seem like he's going too fast. I mean, I know he is. But yeah, the controls they're good. They're very tight for the most part, but I did have a few problems here and there where I, threw my control on the ground. I was like, no way, rage quit, left, walked out of the room. I was like, screw that, I know I made that, whatever. But the music, alright, let's talk about that, all over the place. The music was fantastic. I loved every bit of the music. It's all the good old classic Sonic songs that you can unlock in, pretty much how it works is each level there's like world things, there's like 9 overall, and each has 2 acts, one classic act and one modern act, and they're all old levels from modern and classic games. So you got, Green Hill Zone, you got City Escape, you got Crisis Zone, you got all those crazy awesome levels. I would definitely say that City Escape is my favorite level, only out of nostalgia. But taking out the nostalgia fact, pretty much all the classic Sonic base levels, I like more than the modern Sonic base levels. Just because, I don't know, I feel like the transition between classic and modern was a lot easier for the game than the transition between modern and classic. And what I mean by that is pretty much like Green Hill Zone, I feel transitioned more easily into the 3D modern perspective than what they did with the modern transition into the 2D perspective, because I feel like they kind of just had to cut a lot away from the levels, but in the classic versions they just added more. So if that makes any sense, I don't even know. I'm just kind of speaking at the moment. But other than that, back to what I was saying about the music is, so there's 2 acts, one classic and one modern for each level, and then once you've beaten a level, both acts, you'll beat 2 more levels, and then you'll get to, like, the boss. And that's how it goes. 3 levels, boss, 3 levels, boss, 3 levels, boss. And then final boss. So, once you are able to get to the boss, you need to do these challenge stages, which add a lot of replayability to the game, and I'm in the midst of doing all the challenge stages as we speak. And pretty much they're just little twists and turns and extras to put into the levels. Like, there'll be a doppelganger Sonic where you just have to race to the end and beat him. There's sections where you're helped out by your friends, like Amy Rose will use her hammer that she has in Sonic Heroes. So you'll use her hammer to knock you into the air, and you'll get a jump boost. And then there's like item levels where you're classic Sonic and you have to make it through the level with the Thunder Shield on. You have to use like the double jump or the dash, whichever one the Thunder Shield does. And then the Water Shield, those sections where you have to do like the jump, like the bouncing, and then the Thunder Shield, there's sections where you have to do like the double jump. Other than that, like I said, so you complete your challenges. Some of the challenges are pretty annoying, and I got really frustrated on some of them, but for the most part, they're all really fun, and they really make you want to come back to the level. And every time I did a different challenge, I didn't even really notice I was just playing the same level over and over and over again. I mean, they're so different, and you're thinking of so many different, things. You're not just thinking of getting to the end, you're thinking of, alright, I have to go through all these boost rings, or, okay, I have to destroy all these crates, or, okay, I have to kill all these, robots. And it makes you really want to continue playing through the same level over and over again. When I said you're literally playing the same level over and over again, you are, but you don't really notice it, and that's what's so great about it. But then once you beat challenges, you get artwork and music from the challenges, and whenever you play a level, you can change the music to whatever song you want, which can be just about any modern Sonic game. I think it actually has every song, like every modern Sonic, every classic Sonic, and the actual main levels themes, like that each level has, are more like remixed versions. But in all honesty, as far as the music was concerned, I literally just put Sonic Boom for every single level after halfway through the game, because I don't know why, but Sonic Boom fits with every boss battle, definitely every boss battle, every challenge, and every just level playthrough. I love Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom is my favorite Sonic song ever, and I think it's awesome, and it pumped me up. And when I was actually fighting the final boss, I fought the final boss with the normal music 4 tries. 4 tries with this final boss, alright? Then, I switched to Sonic Boom, and I beat him in that try. That Sonic Boom is awesome. I love Sonic Boom. So yeah, pretty much, the music's awesome, gameplay's awesome, the challenges are awesome, the replayability is awesome. I kind of wish that you could have done more with the character, like, your friends, because they're kind of just there, like, they kind of just appear and then they do nothing. You do get Chaos Emeralds in this game. It's not like an extra thing. You kind of have to do it to get to the final boss. And in that, you battle Metal Sonic as Classic Sonic, which is very fun. Shadow versus Modern Sonic, which was also pretty fun. And then Silver versus Modern Sonic, again, all very fun. I love the Chaos Emerald battles. I honestly like them more than the boss battles. They were awesome. And then you get a Chaos Emerald when you fight each boss, which leads to all the Chaos Emeralds, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to the final boss. And that's where the one bad thing about this game comes in. The one bad thing. The one reason I could hesitate on saying, don't get this game. This is the one reason that I hesitate on saying, get this game. Like, first of all, the game's short, real quick. The game is short, but I definitely think it's worth at least a rent, definitely. But this final boss, pretty much, when you get to the final boss, it's like most final bosses in Sonic games or at least in the modern Sonic games, the first thing that comes to my mind is the final boss of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, or Sonic Adventure 2, when you turn into, actually, it's a lot like that final boss, where you turn into Super Sonic and Super Shadow, and you fight the like prototype of the Ultimate Life Form or whatever. But in this one, you're fighting like this Time Eater thing, and it's both Dr. Eggman's controlling this Time Eater thing. It doesn't really matter what the hell it is. This boss fight is the worst boss fight in gaming history. At least as far as it's the worst boss fight I've ever played. The worst boss fight I've ever experienced, and the controlling is awful. You're so slow and sluggish. For being Super Sonic, you feel like I want my character to go super fast. I want to be able to go from one side of the screen to the other in a matter of no time. But it is so slow, and the depth perception is terrible. And for those of you that know what Super Sonic does, Super Sonic, you maintain Super Sonic until your rings go down to 0, and you lose rings like per second or whatever it is. So obviously there's like rings that are flying at you that you collect to maintain your supersonic status thing. I don't know. But the way that it works, it's just the depth perception plus just the sluggish controls. It's so hard to get the rings, and I was just constantly dying. That's the only thing that can kill you in the boss fight. In all honesty, every attack that the boss does to you can't hurt you. You can't lose any rings from him. It just slows you down. And the only way that you can die is from losing rings. And I could never just really hold on to a good grip of, like, rings, because it was just so hard. Now, when you're boosting as Super Sonic, and you pass through a bunch of rings, it kind of works like the Thunder Shield, where the rings just attract to you. But you still have to be close enough, and it's very difficult. And how the boss fight works is you start off, with the main 3D perspective, and you can switch to 2D. And 2D is definitely a lot easier to get rings. It's still kind of difficult, but yeah. Other than the rings, the problem, because that's not the only problem with this, and the sluggish controls, those are definitely not the only problems. The depth perception, at least for me personally, was terrible. I hated it. And I never felt like I was getting closer to the boss until, like, they just, kind of in the last second, they kind of just, like, bring him to you. But until then, like, I didn't really feel like I was getting any closer. Other than that, every character you save in the game, every one of Sonic's friends, Espio, Charmy, Vector, Knuckles, Amy, Blaze, Shadow, Silver, all of them are talking to you. Constantly, which blocked the fuck out of the music. I gotta say, I could barely hear the music. I didn't know what was going on. I just heard talking, and I had the subtitles on. So for almost the entire time, there's just this big blur on my screen that I'm like trying to avoid not reading. And they're all saying the same thing, which is stupid. And then other than that, so much of that boss fight was useless. Like, there's an attack that you can do where whichever Sonic you're not using, he's launched forwards, and there's a bunch of debris flying at you. And even though you're going so, like, sluggish, moving so sluggishly, you can still very easily dodge just about everything, like, incredibly easily. But the only reason that you use this attack is to break through that so it doesn't slow you down. But I never used it, ever, in the entire 5 tries it took me. Actually, it probably took me a lot more than 5 tries. I just, in my head, it's 5 tries. But, and it just, like, it took me a second at all to realize even how to defeat the boss. What you have to do is you have to fly up really close to him, and you just boost through and you hit him, but you're locked onto him. So I thought that you had to throw the extra Sonic at him, but that didn't do anything. So my first 2 actual attempts at this were just me very frustrated trying to figure out what to do. So I just think that it could have gone so much better. It could have been so much better than it was, and the boss fight was so disappointing that I almost didn't want to finish the boss fight because I didn't think it was worth it. But yeah, I mean, that's other than that boss fight, I gotta say that Sonic Generations is an excellent game. It's way better than Sonic Unleashed, way better than Sonic 4 Episode 1, way better than just it's just great. It's like way better than Sonic Colors. Alright, way better than Sonic Colors. Sonic Colors was probably my favorite of the more modern Sonic games. Like, because Sonic Adventure 2 really isn't, it's more of like in between. But yeah, it's probably one of my favorite Sonic Colors. And actually, my least favorite level in the game, though, ironically, was Planet Wisp, because it's, for modern and classic Sonic, they use the Wisps, and for classic Sonic, you use the Spike Wisp, and for modern Sonic, you use the Rocket Wisp. But I just didn't enjoy using them, and I felt I had to use them too frequently to beat the level. So that's just one last little thing, is that I just didn't like Planet Wisp, which I'm actually pretty sure is the last level in the game. So the last like 30 minutes of that game really a big downer compared to the rest of the game. But I still think that it's completely worth renting, at least renting this game. You don't need to buy it because it's a short game, but definitely give it a try. Even just go over to a friend's house and play it if they have it. It's a great game, and I'd recommend it to anyone that's ever liked any Sonic game ever. And other than that, yeah, I love the game, and I'm actually going to go probably play it right after I'm done doing this thing. So, yeah, just remember that Sonic Boom is the best Sonic song in the game, because you can run, you can fly, you can reach the other side of the rainbow. I'm Caprice78, with you here, Koopa Ninja Bros, adios.